Is now in studio to discuss the election results and perhaps what it might mean going forward is international political expert Dr. Charles Sinkala. Thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, and good afternoon to your viewers.
All right, so the results finally came through. There was concern about the delays and the delays and the delays. You had the Catholic bishops saying that we know who won, and then we were surprised, I think, by Felix Tshisekedi winning the election.
Yes, it's been a surprise. Actually, the whole international community has showed that it's not the candidate they preferred, which is actually very disappointing. We had also a press conference from the France foreign minister who said, no, these elections were not according to what they expected. But it's unfortunate that people anticipate one to win, and they call it unfair elections. At least the people of Democratic Republic of Congo had a fair to stand for the elections, though there were so many things, jargons, the warehouses being burnt, and all those airplanes crashes, and all those problems which went through leading to the elections.
What do you think helped Tshisekedi to get over the line? Is it his father's name?
I think people must study psychology, of how elections has to be handled. He's a diplomatic person. He's not a person who talks everywhere, and everything. Martin Fayulu also has been a very good candidate, but except he was all over the show, talking and threatening Kabila that if he leaves office, he's going to lock him up and all those type of things. So when you threaten the institution which is currently existing, that jeopardizes your chances of being given power. You must remember there's one, you have to win an election, and secondly, you must be given the power. So if you do not mitigate the risk of those two, you have got a problem. He's been very vocal and criticizing the government, though he's been a good candidate to position himself. But the way he conducted himself, he made it in such a way that the ruling party started actually finding ways and means to make sure that he doesn't have power. Leading to the election announcements this week, we had former President Kabila, who had a meeting with Felix Tshisekedi that we need a proper transition of the government, and we want to end the violence. So those are some of the things that politicians in Africa has to learn, that winning an election is not enough. You need to take the power diplomatically. So this man has been very diplomatic, and I think he hasn't been even counted everywhere. That's why people are surprised that he scooped the presidential elections. He was nowhere nearby. His father tried for many decades, to be president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and he failed until his death last year, February. So him, people say he's got only a diploma, and some they say he forged his diploma, so he was not amongst the people who was leading the thing. But it's a shock to the people of Congo that the silent majority, the silent majority rather, has decided that they need a different candidate.
What kind of DRC might we see now since the departure? And I'll ask you just now, actually, is it really a departure? But let's start with, what's the kind of DRC that we're likely to see now?
I think we, as people from the international community, would like to see a hearing process being instituted in the Democratic Republic of Congo. There's been so many violence there, and people have died at the hands of all these autocratic regimes which has preceded, and people want the change. That's why the silent majority has decided that they do not want to vote the hand-picked candidate by Joseph Kabila. They want somebody different. They want to try something different from the way the elections have been done. And I think with his maturity, and he's grown up through the ranks of his political party, or rather from his father's political party. He inherited, he was voted as Secretary General. Also, he was nominated in Bujumbura as a Member of Parliament. which he denied because his father was denied also in 2011 the seat, you know. So he's grown that maturity from there, and I think he's very calm at the moment. He even said thank you for hosting the elections finally to outgoing President Kabila, you know. So we see a situation of shifting, though there will be some violences from people who don't understand that there's change which has changed for them to assimilate. Only time will heal them, that they will start now supporting him.
All right. Earlier on, you mentioned something about it's one thing to win an election, but another to be allowed to govern. Does that mean that perhaps after all these years, that the hand of Joseph Kabila might still be felt in DRC politics?
Not really, though him is that the president-elect has shown that is considering him as a former head of state in a nice way, but I think he has to take up his space to show the people that he condemns corruption, he condemns all these which has been going on in there. That's why he has come as an alternative. You know, you must remember, leading to the elections, general elections, the current president is still in power of the institutions. So they can manipulate, and they have done that so many times across Africa. They've denied people to win the elections. Just recently, or not long ago in Zimbabwe, Mugabe admitted that he denied Morgan Tsvangirai of giving him power because he didn't, for certain reason, you know. So there's some things where the intelligence, they sit, they say, no, can we give power to this person, or can we change and give the second person? And for any reason, this has been manipulated, and it has worked. And I think it's going to take a firm step of trying to show the world that Democratic Republic of Congo, for now, this power transmission, though the representation has been very low, below 50% of the registered vote, which is questionable, but at least they have started a pace of healing.
So that leaves Martin Fayulu, who is saying that this was an electoral coup. There must be some risk if the person who comes second feels that he should have won. Do you have any concerns about what might happen, or do you think that Felix Tshisekedi has done enough?
You know, yes, he's got every rights, Martin Fayulu, to you know, to go through the constitutional means, the electoral process, to challenge the election results, you know, which has been announced. And unfortunately, in Africa, we do not concede to elections. The Africans do not lose elections. If you lose, you always say the elections where it was a coup, of, you know, you shouldn't have won or whatever. But that is normal in Africa. We've come used to that. You know, he's got every right to contest, and he's got every right to challenge the elections and bring the facts together. You know, but he's got very limited room where he can work with. You know, he was given a chance. And for your own information, Felix Tshisekedi was actually part of the coalition where they wanted to vote Martin Fayulu as a head, but he had to chicken out from the last minute. He realized that I'm in a different camp, you know, and also knowing that the former President Kabila knew that should this hand-picked person should have won, there should have been more chaos in the republic. But at least now he has managed to mitigate that risk, to shift now the you know, the elections, you know, if at all there was those means. But I'm sure there was those things, because the margins which Felix has won as very negligible, and you know, leading to that, Martin Fayulu was attacked in his home village there, where they declared that there is Ebola, you can't vote, and all those things. So they tried by all means to undermine him and make sure that he does not take up the position. You know, but I think it's a good for the people of Democratic Republic of Congo. You know, we've seen a lot of celebrations across Africa, wherever they are. You know, in Europe, and also here in South Africa, they are jumping that at least there's a shift of change from Kabila's regime, which has gone now. They're going to pact. There's a new hope, and you know, what has been introduced in the country.
All right, Dr. Sinkala, we're going to have to leave it there, but I'm sure that as the results get finalized, we'll probably have more conversations about what lies ahead. Thanks so much indeed for coming.
Thank you very much, and thank you for